Give me a second, folks. We are just jumping on. Howdy, 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 everybody. Alright, we're going to jump on, everybody. We are jumping on. So, we're going to start all of the festivities and show at 5 o'clock exactly, folks. I just wanted to open up early. If anyone wants to jump on, it's all good. So, we are going, everybody. So, give me a second, folks. We're just going to check a couple of things as we get this show going. So, give me a... There we go. Cool. Alright, I'm just adjusting some stuff as we get this show going. There we go. Cool. There we go. Cool. Alright, folks, got a couple more minutes. We got one person in here. Welcome, welcome, everybody. So, we're going to be working on something today, folks. So I just want to give it a couple more minutes. Just again, we're going to start everything exactly at 5 p.m., folks. So we're just here a little bit early. But what we're going to be doing on stream today is we're going to be working on a really special board today for a friend. It's a board that I really, really enjoy and that I really enjoy working with. So I'll pull this one to the side, folks. I'll kind of show you guys exactly what we're going to be doing. So I actually have my own version of the board. I'm going to put this to the side and kind of show you guys the board that we're going to be working with today. So let me unplug it just so I'm not making my computer go all crazy. But this is the board that we're actually going to be building. This is my personal version of the board. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be assembling and building a Treeleaf 917. This is a really cool board. It's a really special board. This board was released a few years ago. It was made by a keyboard designer named Treeleaf. He'll be popping into my chat at some point during the broadcast. But my friend got one of these boards a few months ago, and as soon as I saw it, I absolutely fell in love with it. This board was ran, I say about 2 or 3 years ago, and Treeleaf just kind of did it as a passion project. He only wanted to make a handful of them, and this essentially was a board that tributes probably one of the greatest race cars ever. It's the Porsche 917. It was developed by Porsche Racing in the late 1960s, and it really kind of dominated the world of racing in the 1960s and 1970s. Porsche would go on to produce about 25 of these race cars. And the crowning achievement of this particular race car is they would win back-to-back Le Mans titles in 1970 and 1971. So I'm also just kind of a big fan of Porsche. I don't know. It's kind of my ultimate dream car. I don't think I'll ever be able to afford a proper Porsche. But it's kind of cool to have a board that really kind of pays homage to the great racing history of the people over at Porsche. Again, Porsche Racing is still very active in the world of motorsports today. Again, most people know Porsche for their consumer cars. Again, they make probably some of the best cars on the market, especially for the price point that they target. But I just think overall, just the German engineering, the design, the philosophy of Porsche is really, really cool. And they have a very rich history in motorsports racing. So this accent on the back is actually the air intake of the particular car. So it's really kind of cool car. There's other kind of hidden accents on here. The camera can't really pick it up. There's kind of another accent, which is the start button of the actual race car. But the colorway of this particular board is the Gulf Oil colorway. Treeleaf actually made 3 different colorways of this particular board, which is really cool. So we have most of the 917s that you're going to see out in the wild are going to be this colorway. He made a Salzburg livery colorway, and he actually did a one-off of a Porsche Pink Pig colorway. She only made one of those. But this is the board that we're actually going to be assembling. Now, the cool thing about this, I talked with Treeleaf, and he only made about 51 of these boards. Now, in the world of custom keyboards, how many of the keyboards in existence really doesn't matter. You can find these boards. If they come up, you can usually find them between, I'd say, like $300 to maybe like $450 if one of them does come up for sale. That's usually about what these boards go for, but there's only 51 in existence, and that includes all the other colorways as well. This is my personal one. The keycaps on here are going to be GMK Yuri Skydata, which is really cool. And then on my particular board, we actually have switches that went with the actual colorway. So HMX actually had a couple of switches they did in the Porsche colorways. So these are the HMX Gulf Oil. Even though you never see them, I like having the overall theme of this board kind of come together. But my particular board has a very nice sound profile. So really nice board. I really enjoy working with it. So this is a really cool board. So I'm gonna plug this back in. But this is my board. But I'm gonna show you the board the Treeleaf that we're gonna be building for my friend. So my friend actually got his Treeleaf 917 first. But he asked me if I could rebuild it for him. Again, my buddy has been kind of busy with life and work and whatnot, so he asked me if I would actually rebuild it for him. So he sent it over. We have the switches, we have the keycaps, we have the stabilizers. So this should be a relatively quick build. But I really just wanted to kind of showcase this board because there's not a lot of content out there. Again, there are only 51 of these boards in existence. So we're gonna get out our PCB. I'll put that to the side. So we have our PCB that we're working with, and let me pull out the actual board itself. So this board is really interesting, so let me pull it open. So I'll pull out the kind of the cleaning cloth, but my buddy's board is really pretty. So another thing too about this particular board, I've talked with Treeleaf. He did even though there's only 51 of these boards in existence, he did a few different runs of them. So the camera doesn't do a really good job of picking them up, but there are some slight variations between these two Treeleaf 917s. So let me move my kind of work mat first. We're not working just yet. We just want to kind of showcase the board. So but if you were to kind of see these boards in person, my buddy's 917 is one of the earlier runs of the boards. Treeleaf did I'd say about 3 runs of these boards when he originally manufactured these boards. So my buddy has an earlier one, according to Treeleaf. So there are some slight variations. You can really kind of notice it when you look at the orange. The orange on my buddy's right here is a little bit lighter than the one that's my personal build. My orange is a little bit darker. There were just some kind of slight variations in some of the anodization. But overall, in terms of like manufacturing and things like that, there's no difference in terms of how the boards are built. There's just kind of slight variations in terms of the coating. Also, Treeleaf kind of told me the way you can kind of separate these boards, sorry about that, is also the feet. Again, the earlier run boards had these darker nubbins, whereas the later ones had these more clear feet, which is really interesting. But as we kind of go along, we'll kind of talk about the board. So it's it's called the Treeleaf 917. This is a tribute to the Porsche 917 race car. Probably one of the coolest looking race cars I think ever created. It looks so awesome. Like, if you get a chance to like just look up the Porsche 917, it's a really cool, awesome looking race car. I think it's probably one of the coolest looking race cars ever. So this is a top mounted board. The plate is steel. So very kind of old school in terms of how it's put together, and also the sound profile you get out of top mount. So let me get my little work mat back here, and then we'll start disassembling this board to get to the plate, and we can kind of see the internals. But one thing about this board, it's probably one of the more gorgeous boards in my personal collection. So it's a really nice board that I really love, and when I bring it out to meets, people really marvel at this board and says like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. So really cool board. I really enjoy having it. So we're gonna kind of go through that. So we're gonna open up this board. Actually, I need the bigger screw. There we go. Cool. So we're gonna open up this board and get this board going. So another thing too about this particular board, it's quality. Again, Treeleaf went with a really good manufacturer when he put this board together. So like the finish is very precise. Like this was not a mass-produced board. So that's the one kind of interesting thing. And if this is a board you're genuinely interested in, last time I talked with Treeleaf, he said he does have like a small number of these boards lying around. So, I mean, heck, if this is a board you're interested in, like, you can reach out to Treeleaf on Discord, and who knows, maybe we'll get one brand new from him, which is really cool. But, again, these boards pop up from time to time. Again, my buddy and I got really lucky tracking hours down. My buddy is a huge car enthusiast. He always has had a passion for cars. So to have a board that's, like, car-themed, especially to, again, Porsche, again, it's probably one of the more iconic car brands, is pretty cool. So we just did all the screws, so it's 7 screws in the bottom, and then we can kind of pull the top and the bottom case apart. So one thing about this, you can see how precisely machined these are. Again, there's almost no wiggle between the top and the bottom case. This is a very precisely machined board. So I want to go through the bottom case really quick. So again, it does have a very nice weight. Again, it has a nice steel weight at the very bottom. So again, this board has some nice heft to it. So again, it doesn't feel cheap. And again, that bottom air intake accent also is made out of steel. So really nice accent. Really nice kind of seeing that board kind of come together. So really good time. So we're going to put the bottom case to the side. And of course, we have our top case. So again, this board is top mount only. So again, top mount is kind of your OG mounting style. Again, you get a lot of the OG retro keyboards were only top mount. So top mount gives you that very classic kind of sound profile. So we're going to undo this and again remove the screws that hold in the plate, and then we'll kind of go over the PCB and also my buddy's overall switch and stabilizer selection. So it's a really nice board. I really enjoy having one, and my buddy enjoys having one in his collection. It's kind of crazy considering there's only 51 of these boards in existence. My buddy and I have 2 of them. So it's really kind of cool. So, and again, I think there's something about the keyboard hobby that's really nice is some of the smaller production run or more limited boards are just really cool. Sometimes do they sometimes carry a premium with them? Absolutely. But I think this is one of those like smaller, rare, limited production boards you can still find relatively affordably for the most part when they come up for sale. Like it's not like going to be like a TGRJ, like a Kohaku or like a Unicorn or an OTD where they demand like this insane premium. For the most part, you can find Treeleaf 917s when they come up for sale for pretty much their MSRP. So that's the really nice thing about these boards is their aftermarket value has not gone absolutely insane. So if this is a board you're genuinely interested in tracking down, like it's still a pretty accessible board. Like my buddy got his for I think around $300. I got mine for around like $350, $400. So again, very accessible board. But you can also just kind of see this top case. Again, everything is just so well machined on this board. It's really big props to Treeleaf. He did a really good job on putting this board together. You have that nice Porsche font for the 917, which is really nice. Really nice accent. And just kind of really overall just gorgeous board. So we're going to put that to the side. So we have our plate here. So this plate is made out of steel. So this is going to be a very rigid kind of typing experience, and also just kind of sound profile you get out of it. So very kind of classic sound. One thing I do like about what Treeleaf did is there is no top mount mounting point under the spacebar. So that's really nice to see. But yeah, this is a really nice plate. So we're going to put this to the side. I want to kind of show you the PCB. I think the PCB is kind of hilarious. Look at the PCB. Again, this is an F-rowless TKL. So there is no F-row on this particular board. So that was just kind of a design aesthetic choice by Treeleaf. But I think it's really funny. You just have this kind of doodle. And it says Treeleaf approved. So really fun. So, but we're going with solder for this particular board. Again, this was when this board originally ran, solder was the only option. Again, when you get into the higher level, more enthusiast level boards, again, solder is kind of the way to go and really the only option. So that's just something that we can just kind of see in terms of how we put these boards together. So that is just something we want to kind of see. So, but yeah, that's what we're going to kind of go through. So I want to kind of go through the stabilizer choice. So we have the switches, stabilizers, and keycaps. So like my board, we're going with a GMK Yuri Skydata. It's really the only keycap option for this board. That kind of really goes with the theme. When Treeleaf was promoting this particular board, like that's really the only keycap set that feels right with this particular board. We also have some switches that my buddy provided me. These switches have been lubed, filmed, and spring swapped, and the springs have been oiled. So again, my buddy wanted to go with these switches. I offered him again the HMX Gullfoil for the proper theme, but he said he already had these switches on hand, and they're already orange, and they kind of go with what theme. And he also wanted switches that he personally modded himself. So that's really good. And then we also have some stabilizers that my buddy also lubed as well. So it's going to be really kind of quick, straightforward build, guys. We're not going to be on stream for very long today. This is a pretty straightforward build. Again, those of you who know me, like, again, I'm a big Alps guy. I was on stream this past weekend doing a custom commissioned Alps build, and it was like over 3-hour stream building the board. So Alps is way more involved, but when I get to do Cherry MX builds, they're pretty straightforward. There's not much to them. So Cherry MX builds, I am pretty again, they're pretty easy for me, and I can finish them in no time at all. So again, we're going to pull out the screws, make sure we got all of our screws here, and we're going to start screwing in and putting on our stabilizers. My buddy's already lubed and filmed, already lubed these stabilizers, so not much we really got to do to these. We just got to screw them in and attach them to the PCB, so that makes life just a little bit easier. Stabilizers do take some time, so... but yeah, another thing too with this particular board, 7U is the only option because we're going wing keyless. So when you go wing keyless on your bottom rail, 7U is the only way to go, unless you go Chinese wing keyless, which is a little bit different. But I gotta flip my spacebar thingy around. There we go. So happens you do it on stream, everybody. It's like, bro, where? Oh, that's not fun. Alright, I broke off the little clippy thingy. Alright, well, that's a Duroc. I got plenty of those. Oops, well, that's what happens when you're on stream, folks. You break something, and you gotta fix it, so it's all good, everybody. Look at that. I do have to lube a stabilizer. Look at that. Look at that, everybody. You got to see me lube half a stabilizer today. Look at that. It's pretty good. Alright, yeah, there we go. Cool, and I got the same color. Give me a second. Let's do this. Alright, I got to lube half a stabilizer today, everybody. Look at that. I broke this part. It's okay. It's okay. Well, so there you go. Get to lube half a stabilizer today. So fun times, everybody. Fun times. So let's get this one going. So all right, yeah, come on, Google. There we go. So I got a stabilizer right here. That's what we're gonna do. So it's already lubed. So that makes it even better. Even less work I got to do. So. Yeah, lubing stabilizers, please do it, people. If you're building the keyboard, please lube your stabilizers. It just makes them sound so much nicer. And there you go. Problem solved, everybody. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look, we happy again, everybody. We happy. So there we go. That was solved very quickly and very painlessly. So good times, everybody. So again, we're gonna put the rest of these stabilizers in. And we'll get this board going, everybody. So then we'll start installing switches, and then we'll solder them in, folks. Again, this is a pretty straightforward build. Nothing too crazy for my friend. All right, and then, yeah, we're going in there. Cool. So, nice, easy board to kind of put together. There we go. So now we're just going to screw these puppies in. Again, these are screw-in stabilizers, so that's really nice. So... but yeah, overall, this is a really nice board. I think if people are looking for a board like this is probably one of the cooler F-Rowless TKLs in the market. Again, the F-Row, if you don't really use it, but you want a TKL, this is a really, really nice. This is probably one of my more favorite layouts. I have another F-Rowless TKL. It's my Matrix Labs Navi, which I really, really like. That board's kind of insane and kind of weird. But I think this is probably one of the cooler F-Rowless TKLs that's been produced in the last few years. There's been some other ones like the Cycle 7 and whatnot. I know the Neo lineup also has done one. There's also the Pluto from KVD fans. So there's been some options, but I think this is probably just, I think in terms of industrial design and aesthetic, probably one of the more beautiful ones. But again, this is probably one of the less common ones, unfortunately. But again, if you do find one, again, you can find these pretty close to MSRP. Again, usually between 300 to 400 bucks, depending what the seller is asking. But that's pretty close to MSRP. When Treeleaf originally ran this board, his MSRP was about $450. So, so the fact that these boards, when they do come up for sale, have maintained the original MSRP price and haven't gone crazy in the aftermarket is really, really nice. Again, these are not cheap boards by any means if you find one aftermarket, but the fact that the prices aren't blowing up just because it's limited is really, really nice. So that's something that is really, really pleasant about this particular board. So if this is a board that intrigues you, again, it is definitely attainable, and you can find it if you're patient. So you can either scroll Mech Market on Reddit or the Mech Market server on Discord. Again, there's usually one that pops up every once in a while, so it is not a hard board to find by whatsoever. So there we go. We got our stabilizers installed. So what I want to do now is just kind of test our stabilizers. So I just want to top off a little bit of lube into these stabilizers really quick. And make sure that those stabilizers are going pretty well, folks. So, all right, let's see this. So, got a really, really cool board. So I'm just going to put a little bit of lube in here just to make sure they're not as rattly. So, I just like doing that just to kind of keep some of the lube from going crazy, everybody. So, again, my person who's here, welcome, welcome. All good. We're here to have a fun time, everybody, and learn about a really cool board. So this is a really nice board. I really enjoy it. There we go. And boom. And I think we'll just do a little bit on the space bar. And then I think we're going to be good. Awesome. Cool. All right, folks. We have our stabilizers pretty good. So really, really good board overall. So again, we're going to stick our plate on there. So one thing about the Treeleaf 917, you really only have a couple of options. So it's ANSI only. Even though the PCB does support ISO, Treeleaf only really ever made the ANSI plates. So you could do a split backspace, you could do split right shift, or you could do stepped caps lock. Those are really your only options in terms of layout, which I think is personally fine. So sorry to my Europeans who would have wanted like ISO or whatnot, but overall we're going to install these switches. Again, these are switches that my buddy kind of modified himself. So we're just going to, what I like to do when I install switches is I like to go with the four corners first, and that kind of holds everything in, and then we just kind of work our way around the PCB. So that's what we're going to be doing right here. So I'm just going to do these corners, and then we'll get these switches installed, folks. So, and this is an MX build, so it's pretty straightforward. We're not going to be on stream for like 3 hours. We're probably, I say no more than an hour for this stream, folks. So this is a pretty quick build. I've gotten pretty good at building boards since I got into the hobby. When I first got into the hobby, it would take me absolutely forever to do an MX board, but since I'm pretty experienced, again, my MX builds are pretty quick. But when we're doing like a Topere build, or of course like a Alps build, those take a lot longer. There's just a lot more that goes into those builds. But overall, like again, builds like this are pretty simple. Like this is some straightforward stuff. I don't got to modify the switches into those builds. But overall, like again, builds like straightforward stuff. I don't got to modify the switches. So the switches are not 40 years old, like you have to deal with it with Alps. A breath of fresh air when I get asked to do some MX builds coming up in the future, which are going to be really fun. I'm really excited to kind of see some of the MX builds. I got some boards coming in on a group buy, and I'm also going to be showcasing some boards that are going to be doing their own group buys probably later this year, hopefully. Which is going to be really nice. I've been really privileged. A handful of creators want to send me some prototypes to check out on stream and to kind of showcase to people who are interested in potentially getting them. So that's something that's really nice. So it's really kind of good getting those kind of going. So we're just kind of going through. I got my Twitch thing. There we go. So let me just see, and we are good. So yeah, so Switch stream is being pretty good today. So we're just kind of inserting those. So we got our main things now. We're just going to do our numbers and our alpha cluster, and we are going to get pretty good. All right, give me a second. Oh, there we go. All right. Sorry, Treeleaf was having trouble getting on in here. I don't know what's up with that. So I guess we were having some trouble with some of the content, so give me a second, folks. Let me see what is going on. All right, give me a second, folks. My All right, give me a second, folks. My Yeah, I don't know why that happened. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. We had a few people kind of yay. Yeah, Twitch hates me, guys. It's okay. I don't know why it cut out. What's up, Treeleaf? So, yeah, we had a few folks. I don't know, man. Twitch and my internet absolutely hate me. What's up, Treeleaf? I just I'll show you. So I got mine on my personal 917 here on the desk today. But again, this is my buddy's 917. I think when I reached out to you a few months ago, when just kind of comparing, I think you said my buddy's was one of the earlier runs of the 917. So this is his bottom. Of course, we have mine, and I know his has the black feet on it, and then mine have the clear feet. So it's just kind of cool seeing the board. So it's kind of cool having two of these on stream, considering how few of these boards exist. So we're just kind of going through. We're kind of assembling it. So it's a really cool board. I really enjoy it. Like, it's probably one of my favorite boards to use, and it probably spends the most amount of time on my desk, realistically. So it's really kind of cool. So I don't know why Twitch was being weird earlier. It absolutely hates me. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, it's a really cool board. Like, I think Treeleaf overall, I think you kind of knocked it out of the park with this particular board, and I really enjoy taking it to meets and showing people and telling them like what this board is themed to. And just kind of the cool history around it, whether it's the actual 917 race car or the actual just kind of lore about this board itself. It's a really cool board, and it's just a fun board. And I think, personally, it's probably one of the most beautiful boards in my collection. Like, when you just look at it, it's so clean, it's so simple. Like, there's nothing overly too complicated about the design, and I think that's really, really nice. It's really simple, and the accents that you have on the board that like really pay tribute to the race car are awesome. Whether it's the air intake on the back or right by the USB port, we also have the accent right here, which I think is really cool. Yeah, Twitch absolutely just, I don't know, sometimes Twitch. We also have the VOD going on my YouTube channel, so it's also streaming to YouTube, and the VOD will be available. It will be available immediately on YouTube once the stream is over. So I just got to update the title in the description on YouTube and update a thumbnail, but it'll be there for a watch if you want to share it, just to kind of overall share this board. The thing I think is really interesting, there's not much content on this board, unfortunately. I know when you were running the board, I think there was Alex Odos did a stream of the board, which is really cool, but outside of that, there's not a lot on this board on YouTube that I can find, unfortunately. So it'll be nice to have something out there that, and in addition to Alex's stream, that if someone is interested in this board, like they could watch the stream and learn about the board. I'll tell you one thing I think is really interesting, though, about this. Oh, yeah, Black Simon, too. Okay, yeah, Black Simon. My favorite angry man in the keyboard community. I love Black Simon. He's very opinionated, and I love him for that. So he's interesting. I'm on his server is absolutely fascinating. But yeah, Black Simon's he's definitely an interesting dude. But I think other than Alex Sotos and Black Simon, like, there's not much out there. Unfortunately, I mean, it's just because the board is so limited. I think you told me there's like 51 or so ish of these things out that were made. So it's not like some of the other boards where like they may make a few hundred or a few thousand. So this is a very, very limited board, very small run, which I'm personally cool with. I like some of the smaller run boards. I think it's really, really cool that you just chose to like just make. I'm only making a handful of these and that's it. So that's I think is really cool about this board. So it's one of my personal favorites. And like I said, if I'm going to pull off a board of my collection, this is probably one of the first boards I usually gravitate towards. Really, really nice board. So on this particular board, we're pretty much using the same switch that my buddy, he lubed, filmed, and spring swapped these. Kind of blinking on their equals switches. I don't know the exact one. My buddy just knows. He said, these are the switches I want to use. On the spacebar, my buddy wanted this Wakuo Harmony, so that's what he wanted. So there we go. So we have our switches ready to go. So, but yeah, Treeleaf overall, like I think another thing too with the board, yeah, no, absolutely, man. But I also tell you too, the price on this board is absolutely fair. I think like the original MSRP around this board for I think is very fair considering like I don't know I'll bring the top and bottom case on like just for people who may be watching the VOD afterwards. Like if you look at the CNCing on this particular case, like it's gorgeous CNCing. I don't know who your manufacturer was, but like the tolerances on this board, like there's like no wiggle between this top and bottom case. Like that seam right there, how these top and bottom cases fit together is gorgeous. Like the bottom accent as well, like that's really, really good machining. Like the original MSRP on this board is worth it. I know some people like, I know it was like what, like 450, 500 bucks original MSRP. I mean, that's nothing to slouch at. But I think overall, this is a really good board for the price point that you aimed for. And I get for some people that I think a lot of people in the hobby, like when they hear like 450, 500 bucks, they like sit back in their chair and they think, oh, that's kind of insane. But like, when you consider like what goes into this board, like and also that this was a passion project of yours. You're not dealing with like the capital of like Omni-type or Canon keys or novel keys, where you could produce thousands of these things and sit on that inventory. Like you're producing as many as people want to order. So I absolutely get that. So, but I really like your board. Also, your PCB I think is absolutely hilarious. The fact you have your little, like you can't see it now, but like here I have a secondary PCB just for reference. Like the fact you put this little doodle on here, I think is absolutely hilarious. Like Treeleaf approved, I think is pretty great. But also like you have Yay here too. I think it's just really cool. Like overall, I think this PCB is cool, and also I think you went with the best PCB color, green. So that's pretty sweet. So I'm gonna fire up the soldering iron, and we'll get this. We'll start again getting these switches soldered. Again, this is a relatively quick stream. Like I said, like I've been doing a lot of custom high-end Alps builds. Like those take for frickin' ever. Like an Alps build could take several weeks, and then when I actually have everything on hand to like build it, it could take like 3 or 4 hours to put the damn board together. So like it's really nice that this board is just kind of simple, straightforward Cherry MX. Why am I all blurry? Come on, machine. There we go. Come on. There we go. God, why am I all blurry? Come on, camera. You're sucking today. So, but yeah, it's a really simple build today, folks. Again, we're probably not going to be on here for more than an hour. No, you're built. No, I really appreciate the simplicity of this board. I think just how you approached it, I think is really cool. And the fact that also you did other colorways. Like the fact that we have other colorways for this particular board, I think is really cool. Like I know you had some Salzburg ones, and I know you had the one off the Pink Piggy colorway, which I think is absolutely cool. My buddies met the guy who got your Pink Pig one, your like one off. So he brought this to a meet last fall in LA, and he was talking with the guy at the meet. Oh, what is up, sir? What's up, Key Beeper? So we're doing a Treeleaf. We got for Key Beeper coming on in. We're doing a Treeleaf 917 today. So I'll before we kind of get soldering, I want to show off the case. So we have actually 2 of these. I'm assembling this for a good friend of mine. So this is the Treeleaf 917, probably ran about 2 to 3 years ago, and it's a tribute to the Porsche 917 race car. Probably one of the most badass, cool race cars I think's ever been produced. One of my favorite just kind of tidbits about the car, it won back-to-back Le Mans titles in 1970 and 1971. So really kind of beautiful, just kind of tributes to the race car. It's in the Gulf Oil colorway. That's going to be the most common one that you're going to see with this particular board. And there's also just kind of the start button from the actual race car right here, which I think is really cool. I don't know why I'm so freaking blurry. Come on. Come on. I don't know. The camera doesn't like me today. I don't know why my face cam is all blurry. Sorry about that, everybody. But really cool. So, like, I think Treeleaf really kind of knocked it out of the park. Again, this was very much his passion project. So, this was a very small run board, but it's a really, really gorgeous board. Like, if anyone is interested in picking up one of these boards, they come up a mech market from time to time. The thing that I think is really just nice about this board, when they do come up for sale, they're pretty much close to MSRP. You can find them, I'd say, anywhere between 300 and like 450 bucks when they come up in mech market. So, but I just tell you, if it's a board you're interested in getting, if you see it pop up, jump on it fast, because they do go pretty quickly when these come up for sale. So I'm thankful I have one too. My buddy got his first, and then as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, I gotta have one. So I spent some time trying to track one down, and I found one from a user who was pretty close to me. And again, we figured out a deal and a price, and it was a very fair price for what I got this board for. So I love having mine. So it's a really nice board. So it's cool that we have 2 of the 51 or so that exist. So it's kind of crazy. So let me get my little soldering spool. So this is a pretty quick stream, folks. Again, we're not going to be on here for more than an hour. Again, I was on stream for like almost 4 hours on Saturday night, putting together a commissioned Alps build. I've been doing a lot of custom commissioned Alps builds for people. Alps builds are way more involved, and I know Treeleaf, you did I think Treeleaf, you did a handful of Alps kits for this board, which I think is also kind of cool. I mean, hell, if you ever find one, you know, one of your one of your customers who wants to sell their Alps kit, let me know. Like, I would totally buy an Alps kit for this board, which would be super, super sick. But yeah, we're going to kind of go through my kind of methodology for soldering. I like doing the 4 corners, and then I go through and then I do all the other parts. 4 corners just kind of holds everything in place. I got my little, you're going to hear this little vent come on. It's just my soldering vent. It sucks in all the smoke and all that. So I'll be talking a little bit louder just to kind of talk over this thing. Just, I don't want to breathe in all this solder fume stuff. There we go. So just going to make sure everything is close and hugging that PCB. And then we're going to kind of push these puppies in. So really simple build, folks. Nothing too much, not much to it. This, thankfully, again, this is a very simple build to do. So we're just kind of making sure that's nice and secure. There we go, nice and snug. So a really nice, easy build, folks. Again, when I get to do Cherry MX builds, it's kind of a breath of fresh air because Alps, I've been doing a lot of Alps and they are very involved. Like, I just finished a custom JO2. I think from start to finish, to acquire all the parts, doing the custom Cerakote work, restoring the switches, took about 2 months. So, like, it's nice that I can just do a board in an evening and it takes like an hour to put together. So, but Alps, like, very much are a different animal. But I had a customer today commission a board with me, which is really kind of cool. The Alps commissions have been kind of coming in pretty fast the past few weeks. So I had one client, he commissioned 3 high-end Alps builds with me, so which is really cool. I just mailed off one of his builds today, which is really nice. So, so yeah, also if you're interested in high-end bespoke Alps, let me know. Like, I'd be happy to do a build for y'all, which is really cool. So, because Alps, I think the thing that turns people off of Alps really is just the restoration and sourcing the switches. Because I tell you, if you're going to do Alps, you're limited on the kind of modern, if you want to put it in a modern board, you're limited on your board selection because of PCB and plate compatibility. But also, switches are a lot of work. If you find, you got to get switches from old keyboards that are almost 40 years old. And that can be pretty hard. And once you get the switches, you got to restore them and you got to harvest them. And that's a lot of freaking work. Like, Alps are very much a labor of love. So that's why I've kind of started doing the service of building, again, commission Alps builds for people. And hey, it's working out. It's a nice little side gig for me. So, and it's fun because I get to build them on stream and teach people the weirdness that is Alps. So, which I think is pretty sick. So we're going to kind of go through, do this corner right here. Again, this board, it's not like a full size, so we're going to solder this puppy pretty quick. So pretty good board, nothing too crazy, not much to it. So at that corner in, then we'll make sure this corner is all in, and then we should be good to go to start doing this. So it's a pretty quick build. Again, we should probably be out of here, I'd say at the hour mark or a little after the hour mark. Really simple build to do, but there's not much content on this board out there, unfortunately. So when this board launched a couple years ago, Black Simon and Alex Odos did streams building this board and kind of showcasing it, but outside of their streams, there's not much content on this board, unfortunately, which I think it really kind of sucks. So this will be on, I'll have the VOD of this stream on my YouTube channel. It's concurrently streaming to YouTube right now. But again, so it'll be available in a VOD format for people who want to share it, or again, if someone just wants to learn about this board. Again, you have a pretty clear video understanding of this board, and if it is one that interests you. So it's a really nice board. I really enjoy it. And again, it's probably the board that spends the most amount of time on my desk of my MX builds. Again, I have most of the common major Alps, switch types. Again, I have a ton of MX. I got Topre. I have Alps. I also have Hall Effect. I want to get into buckling spring and beam spring. I'm just trying to find like a Model F or a Model M that's like not insanely priced and that's not completely clapped. So, yeah, so we're just kind of going through. So we got our space bar down. So I'm going to do my bottom row really quick. And then we're just going to kind of keep it going, folks. So nice, easy board. Again, I love how simple this is. Again, this is not the ordeal that my Alps builds are, which is really nice. So, yeah, really simple board. I really enjoy that. It's super simple, super quick. Not much to it. So yeah, Treeleaf, major props to making a nice simple board. And again, like, and just because it's simple, that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just a really good board, and I really enjoy having it. So, and it's just kind of cool to be able to have 2 of these. Considering there's so few of these in existence, it's really cool. That just kind of makes it that much more special because this was such a small run board. I didn't get enough solder on that particular pin, so let's just get that one in. So, really cool board. I think it's just a really awesome one that we can just kind of see. Damn it, I bent a pin. Well, give me a second. I bent a pin. Oh, I knew there'd be one. Let's see that. I bent a pin. Damn it. My up arrow. Damn it. It's okay. Oh, man. Rookie mistake, everybody. Rookie mistake. I bent it. Damn. Never mind, I could get my tweezers out and straighten that pin out. Dang, I haven't done that in a while. So, that's fun, everybody. Look at that, everybody. Let me straighten out that pin as I don't. So, all right, my buddy, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I bent one of your precious pins, but it's okay. You will never notice once it's put in there. All right, there we go. All right, cool. We got her in, everybody. Look at that. Look at that. I'm like, yeah, there we go. All right, once it's signed, and you'll never know. You'll never know. It's okay. It's okay. Look at that. All right. Let's turn that little vent on, and then we'll get this one going again. So, all right, let's do this arrow cluster and then this again navigation cluster. Awesome. Yeah, we'll make really quick work of these. Awesome. So pretty good, everybody. So we're going through it, but yeah, overall, this is a really nice board. If it's a board you're genuinely interested in, again, they're pretty accessible. It's not like trying to get a unicorn or a Kohaku or something like that. Or like an OG Jane or an OTD. As cool as those boards are, I'd love to have. I mean, I have a Kohaku, so. But I also, for the record, I did not pay Kohaku aftermarket prices for my Kohaku. Because yeah, the prices people ask for those boards are absolutely insane. Thankfully, they're coming down in price. That's the one nice thing about Kohakus. They're coming down. Gone are the days of people paying like almost $2,000 for one. Oh yeah, no, dude. Like, I mean, I've had some interactions with Elaine. Like, she's awesome. I hate that her boards go for the. It's just hype and FOMO. Like, her boards are awesome, absolutely. Like, don't get me wrong. Elaine's boards are fantastic, but like, people paying like $2,000 plus for a unicorn, that's just insane to me. I was at the Divinity meet a couple weeks ago, and there were a few unicorns there, and I was joking about prices, and one guy said, "I paid $2,500 for my unicorn." I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy, but okay. But yeah, I love a corn one day. I just not gonna pay that. I'm not paying that premium aftermarket, and I don't think Elaine will ever run them again. Because I was on Elaine's server earlier today, and she's working on a new 60%. I don't think it'll be a unicorn, but she is working on a 60%. That's gonna be her next project. And just knowing how people lose their mind for single boards, like, it's probably going to be another board that's going to be either first come, first serve that sells out instantly, or it's going to be a raffle, and, like, good luck. Good luck. So, I mean, I have 2 single boards. I got the Kohaku, and I got the Neko 40%. So, like, I'm cool with single boards. I'd love a unicorn, but I'm not paying, like I said, I'm not paying unicorn prices. That's just ridiculous. So, I mean, I like having a Kohaku kind of fills my Elaine fix and Singa fix. So, and Elaine kind of came in clutch. Like, when I was buying my unicorn, like, I got it off a user in New Zealand, and he sold it for me for MSRP. So I got really lucky, and he had never used it, and he was the original owner and purchaser from the group buy of that rent. So that was really nice. So, so yeah, overall it's pretty good. So like, I really enjoy having stuff like that. So it's pretty good, but. Yeah, again, like I said, this is a really quick board. I like that it's a really simple, straightforward build. Like, we're not going to be on stream long, guys. I'd say we'll probably be here a little over an hour total for the stream. And the VOD will be on YouTube after the fact. So if there's portions you missed or you want to send it to someone who's interested or you You want to look at it a little more in depth, go for it. It's all good, everybody. So we're going to do this side, and then we'll focus on the alphas and then the numbers, and then we'll kind of do final assembly. This is a pretty easy, straightforward build. So really, really nice. I like how simple this board is. That's just kind of the beauty of Cherry MX. They're very simple. Not like my Alps builds, which are just kind of insane. Like, cool. Let me just make sure that one. Yep, we good. We good. Just making sure spacing and everything is looking good, folks. So, again, this is a relatively short stream tonight. But again, this is a relatively easy board. And then also on Saturday morning, I was on stream with Divinity. I was building another board for my friend, a Test 65. And I had actually some of the Divinity peeps on stream with me. And they're actually interested in commissioning me to do an Alps build that's going to be on display in their corporate offices here in LA, which is going to be awesome. So, like, I was talking with the CEO of Divinity this morning. So we're going to work out a time where I can go over to their office and bring some of my Alps builds so they can kind of try what switches they want. They really don't know what switches they want, but they have a Cala TKL. They were the vendor for the group buy last year. And that board its PCB is Alps compatible, which is really cool. So they have one on hand that they want to convert to Alps that they just have been sitting on. And they want it to be kind of on display in their corporate offices, which I think is really cool. So I'm really kind of excited to kind of do a build for like the team at Divinity. So I mean, it'll be on display in their office, and if someone in the office wants to use it as a daily driver, absolutely. So so we're just kind of hammering out a time for me to go over to their office over in LA, and it'll be an opportunity for them to try out some of my Alps builds and try out different Alps switches, so we can kind of finalize what switches they want to go with, and then also what keycaps they want to go with on that build. So that'll be really kind of cool. So I'm really excited to work with the folks at Divinity, and they said they're interested in maybe adding me as like a media affiliate to maybe do some more reviews for that some of the be part of like the people they send stuff out to when they lead up to group buys, which will be really cool. I have a couple other boards I'm going to be helping promote when they go on group buy. I don't know if you guys know Luke Barron. He's doing a McLaren themed board called the BP1, which is really cool. Luke's kind of navigating the complex situation in the United States right now with tariffs and importing stuff from overseas. But he's going to be sending me a prototype in August, and we're going to be able to build it on stream and just kind of get the word out there as like why people should support this. Similar to you, Treeleaf, like Luke is just one guy. He's just passionate, but he has this design. He's passionate, and he's realistically only going to sell a handful of these boards. He's looking at MOQ between 50 and 100. So it'll be another really small run board. And I told Luke once he gets to group buy, or like I'd be one of his first customers. Like, it's a board I genuinely want. As someone who likes cars, and McLarens I think are cool. Another board that I'm going to have on stream is going to be the QFRL 100. That's an F-Rollless full size, which is going to be sick. So I was talking with the creator, and he's going to be sending me a prototype next month as well to kind of review on stream. And just kind of showcase and get the word out there, like, as to why people should potentially support that group buy. And what's cool about that project, the QFRL, it's Alps compatible. So me being the crazy person that I am, I can do more Alps. I bent a second pin. Good God, I'm on a roll today. Lord, I just can't catch a break, man. I bent another pin. God, man, I feel like a rookie today. This sucks. Like, I bent another pin. And it's like I said, once it's soldered, my buddy, you'll never know. You'll never know the pin was bent. I'm like, okay. But yeah, it's a good time. Good time indeed, folks, for getting that pin. There we go. Cool. I know, I feel like it's, I know, I gotta get good. I know, Treeleaf, I know. I mean, I've been doing a lot of Alps builds lately, but like, I'll tell you, I got some really cool builds coming in, because boards I purchased myself on group buy. So within the next few weeks, I'd say probably the next month, I'm gonna have a ton of boards start showing up. I got the Jackie Labs Hippo TKL on group buy. I got the Linworks Dolphin Max full size. I got two Vertex full sizes on group buy. I got the Seal last year, and also the S100. So I bunt full size galore over the next few weeks, which will be kind of cool. Getting some really cool custom full sizes. I got the Diversity TKL, which they're nearing the end of production, so they're thinking August that should come. I got the Han H2H HHKB case, which should be shipping out soon. I got the Matrix Labs NOS and MM Studio Class 65. So those should probably maybe like late August, September be coming in. So there's a lot of really exciting builds coming in. I also got the Constance TKL from Divinity on Group Buy last year, so that should be coming in. So a lot of boards, and I'm going to be building all those on stream. Again, I paid all for those boards with my own money, so I'm just putting them out there just for people to, if they're a new person who happen to join those group buys or whatnot, or just want to learn about those boards, I'm just going to put them out on stream. I'm going to build them anyway. Might as well make content about them and again educate the masses on some of those boards that are really cool. So I mean, also just having custom full sizes are cool. I think that's something that's really awesome. I think we need more of. It's really nice that like we're getting custom full sizes that aren't Keychron. Like I know QWERTY Keys did their QK101. Matrix Labs did their full size, which I have. Matrix Labs 100 NG here. I got lucky and picked up 100 NG from MSRP. Because that's another board that goes for like insane aftermarket. So like having a 100 NG is really cool. I also got Darian's 925. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, full sizes, I think that's part of why full sizes, I think, have turned a lot of people off in the custom space. Because I know from you guys as like designers, like it's a lot more material. It's a lot more time for the manufacturer, and of course that just means more material, more time. That's just ups the cost. So I absolutely get why up until this time no one really has done full sizes for the most part. I absolutely get it. Again, it is just more logistics, and again, that is just more money. And then again, that's more money that you as the creator has to pay, and of course that is ultimately what the customer has to pay. I bent another pin, damn it. I'm free for 3 tonight, guys. It's awful. So yeah, I absolutely get it. But I do like that some creators are doing it, like the Vertex, like my Darian's 925 and the Matrix Labs 100 NG, those were both really expensive boards. Like this 100 NG was like $700. Darian's 925 was like $600, so those were not cheap. Those were really, really expensive boards. And mind you, the Matrix Labs they were both tiny runs. I think Matrix Labs was like 70 boards, and I think Darian did like 40 full sizes. So, I mean, just because those runs were so small, that's why the cost was so high. But I think I know like QWERTY Keys with their full size, it's like 200 something bucks, which is like fantastic. So like, I think that's a really good board for like your average person who wants something better than a Keychron. I think a QK101 is like a great board. You get that custom feel, but you're not paying that custom price. I think Vertex with their S100 I think was really cool too. That's a board I'm really excited because they ran it for like 220 bucks. Like that's awesome. Like the fact that they were able to hit that price point. The seal was like double it. The seal's like 450 bucks. And then the Linworks Dolphin Max was also like on the more expensive end for full size. I think it was about like 550, 600 bucks. So, but I think the fact that like we have like the QK101, which is in stock, like if someone wants a full size that's like better than like Keychron or like some of the other stuff that's on the market, like absolutely go with the QK101. I think the people at QWERTY Keys are doing great work. I absolutely have respect for the people at QWERTY Keys. I think the fact that they're targeting the price point that they are and making really like they're bringing that custom like feel and experience to a more affordable price and more accessible, I think is a really good thing. Again, there's still a place for like bespoke, high-end, limited boards like this. Again, like there's crazy people like me who really love boards like this. So there is this still does have a market, which I think is really cool. And I don't think that's going anywhere, but I think for the mass market, I think it's really cool. Like companies like QWERTY Keys are like bringing prices down to like make it more accessible. I think that's a really good thing of what they and their team over there are doing. But also the thing with QWERTY Keys, they're a massive company. Like they have a lot of capital. Like they can afford to build a few thousand units and sit on them for several months or a couple years. Like most people doing like smaller end group buys, they don't have that kind of capital. So, and they can't afford to do that. So I get it. And that's like a thing that's interesting. Like I think a lot of it took me time to realize like why group buys exist. And group buys exist for that very reason. Most creators they're not sitting on like $1 million where they could build thousands and thousands of units and sit on that. Like that's not realistic. So yeah, that's why we got group buys, everybody. So, I mean, love them or hate them, it's just kind of the nature of the game. And I also tell people too, like when I've gone to like meets, like so especially people who are newer, if you want the really, really cool stuff, the only way to really go is group buys. Like some of the really, really cool like boards that are like kind of pushing the limits of like design and really crazy stuff, they're going to be in the group buy. That's how they're selling. Unless you just want to wait and like see how they sell aftermarket. But like honestly, with most of the group buys today, like when units start delivering to customers, if you go on Mech Market, you can see them. Like Gian just delivered all his F18Xs finally, because I think Gian only. What's up, Naveed? I think now you're good, dude. We're gonna be on here probably in like 30 minutes. This is a quick build, but like I think most of the cool builds like are in the group buy format. But it's cool because like when you see like Gian, I think it took him a little over a year to do the F18X fulfillment, but like those are really cool boards. Like I think Gian is like someone I also just really recommend if someone wants to go into like something that's a little more high end. Like Gian is awesome. I mean F18X is like top dog or like trying to track down a glare, but like a Frog TKL, the client commission build for Alps that I did on Saturday was a Frog TKL. That's an awesome build. That's an awesome board in an awesome case. Damn it! I bet another pin. God, that's 4, bro. I'm killing me today. I get 4 bent pins today, guys. Like, God, I feel like a rookie today. This is not good. Those are rookie numbers. I gotta get those numbers up. Oh, man, I really foobarred this pin. That's okay. I got it. Really foobarred that pin. Oh, man. I know. Once it's soldered in, you'll never know, but it's just, I know it's there. Hey, there you go. Hey, man, happy wife, happy life. That's how it goes. That's like the saying. So, hey, man. So you go. You gotta keep the wifey happy. All right, and there we go. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Oh, I got 4. Hello, we got more people in here. Hello, friends. So yeah, I mean so we're doing a Treeleaf 917 for anyone who's kind of jumping on. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why it's being laggy or choppy. Unfortunately, I don't know why my internet is just being really shitty today. Like the last few streams I've done haven't been like that. Treeleaf was having some issues earlier. We're on here, so oh, it's fine for you. Okay, maybe it's just internet. Some different places hate us. But the VOD of this will be on my YouTube channel. This is streaming concurrently to YouTube, so the VOD will be available. I'll have to update the description and the thumbnail after the fact. But again, the VOD will be on YouTube. Again, this is a very short build, all things considered. Again, Cherry MX builds pretty simple as we kind of solder these ones together. I'll kind of show the case off in a second once I get this row done. And kind of talk a little bit more about this board for some folks who have kind of jumped on. This is a really cool board that Treeleaf released a few years ago. We actually have Treeleaf on in chat. So Treeleaf's really cool. Again, this was very much a passion project. This is called the 917 or the Treeleaf 917. But really cool board. It's an F-Rollless TKL, and it's pretty much a tribute to probably one of the coolest race cars in motorsports history, the Porsche 917. So the Porsche 917 was produced late 1960s, and it kind of became a legend in its own right in the 1960s and 1970s. One of the crowning achievements of the race car. It won back-to-back Le Mans title. It won back-to-back Le Mans titles in 1970 and 1971. Porsche would go on to produce about 25 of these boards in total. So, I mean, not boards, these race cars in total. So there are a handful around the world in museums and in private collections. And I think some of the museums, I think a few of them are in operating condition. I know from time to time, I think it's just YouTube is being weird. But again, the VOD will be on there. But it's an F-Rollless, so there's no F-Row on this particular board. It's also Win keyless with a 7U spacebar. Let me turn my little soldering hood. But we'll get the case. We actually have 2 of them here on stream. So this is I'll show you this is what the board's going to look like when it's complete. So this is my personal 917. So really, really gorgeous board. I think in my personal collection, probably one of the most beautiful boards that I own. So it's in the, it has this blue and then orange. That's the Gulf Oil livery colorway that this race car came in. Treeleaf did a total of about 51 of these in total. And he did some other colorways. When you see a Treeleaf come up, a 917 come up for sale, it's going to be most likely in this colorway. But he did a couple other colorways. He did a red colorway called Salzburg livery, and they also did a one-off of Porsche Pink Pig. My buddy went to a keyboard meet last year, and he actually met the guy who has the Treeleaf that's in the 917 that's in the Pink Pig colorway. So yeah, there's a handful of them. Oh yeah, also Martini. and Joker and Salzburg. So I know Treeleaf, you did a few others, but those were like much smaller. I know most of the boards you made were in this particular colorway. And I've seen pictures of some of the like the Martini, the Salzburg, and the Pink Pig, which is really cool. Unfortunately, when my buddy went to the keyboard meet, yeah, almost all of them are in Gulf oil. Again, there's only a very small handful in the other colorways. But it's really cool. Like, again, you have the Porsche, the 917s in the Porsche font. It also has a very nice side profile. It's called the 917. It has a 9.7-inch typing angle, which I think is really cool. This accent on the back is the air intake of the race car. Some people, when I show them this board, they think this is a wheel or like the rim. It's actually, that's the air intake. Which is really cool. So if you look at pictures of the race car, if you look like a top-down view of the car, you're going to see this towards the back where the engine is. So that's what you're going to see. So, and then also, too, there's a little accent right here. This is the start button for the actual race car. So, really cool car. Again, there are some of them in museums. I've never had the opportunity to see one of these race cars in person. Like, I want to go to Germany one day and go to the Porsche Museum. I know they have a few of them at the Porsche Museum in Stuttgart. I was on stream the other night, and I actually had a viewer from Careless' server who's from Germany and actually from Stuttgart. And they said they've been to the museum, the Porsche Museum, many times, which is super cool. So another thing, too, to kind of point out, I'm going to put the PCB to the side. This is my buddy's 917. So we actually have two of them. So it's kind of crazy. There's so few of these boards in existence. I have two of them between my buddy and I. It's just kind of cool. Oh, dude. Oh, damn. I was just in the Bay Area, Treeleaf. I was just in your neck of the woods. If I had known there was a 917 up in the Bay, I would have totally gone and seen it. Next time I'm up in the Bay, I definitely got to hit you up, dude, and we got to go see it. And I definitely would bring one of my 917s and, like, to get a picture of it next to one of the 917s. Yeah, if you look at pictures of the 917, it's unlike any race car you've ever seen. It's just so cool. And, like, again, I really would love to see one now that Treeleaf just taught me that, like, there's one here in California. It's pretty cool. So I definitely got to see one. Go see it next time I'm up here. Next time I'm up in the Bay Area. But one thing I learned from Treeleaf too, when I initially got my Treeleaf, my 917, is I wanted to figure out what run there was. So Treeleaf did about 51 of these, but he did them in runs. So if you look at these, the camera doesn't do a really good job. But one thing that's really kind of cool is there are slight variations in the anodization. So the orange on mine is slightly darker than the orange anodization on my buddy's. Also, the rubber feet are also different. So my buddy has the black feet, I have the clear feet. Again, there was just kind of slight variations in the anodization that Treeleaf has kind of told me, which is interesting. But overall, the manufacturing is pretty much the same. The fit and finish is the same. Like, they're pretty much identical in terms of the boards. But, like, a really, really cool board. Really, really nice. And again, like, this is what my buddy's board is going to look like. Again, it's going to be, again, Yuri Skydata. But we do have differences in what switches we used. So my buddy went with some equal switches, whereas I wanted to kind of go full theme on this board. So, like, on my board, I put in HMX Gulf Oil. And what's really kind of cool is these switches came with these little oil cans, these little Porsche oil cans, which I think is really cool, from HMX. So I got a couple of these, so I gave one of these Gulf oil cans to my buddy. So it's in his room, and it's when he's not using his little oil can is like right next to his 917. So I just wanted to go full theme on mine for, like, the Porsche. And what's kind of cool too, HMX also did another Porsche switch. They did a Pink Pig switch, and those are in my Pink Pig. Those are in my Piggy 60. And I also made a commemorative oil can for those. So, yeah. So mine's gonna sound very different from his. Like, HMX has a very clacky sound profile. So my board's going to sound a little bit different from his, but overall, like, everything else is pretty much identical. So really cool board, but it's nice having two of these. And like I've told Treeleaf, this is a board that's probably one of my daily drivers and my workhorses. In terms of my MX boards, if I had to pick an MX board, it's probably the one I'm going to grab like all the time to use. It's going to be the 917. It's just a beautiful board. And the thing that's really kind of interesting, a lot of the people who got these boards, I got them more as display pieces. Like, the guy I got mine from, he hardly ever used it. It just kind of sat on a shelf. So, like, one thing that Treeleaf has kind of shared with me, he really likes it when he really like. Yes, the board is an art piece; it's gorgeous, but like you also want it to be used. It's a tool at the end of the day. Like you want this to be like your main tool on your. That's like the highlight of your desk. So that's one thing that's just really kind of cool with this particular board. Like in addition to just being like gorgeous, like it's a very useful tool. So we're going to get back to the soldering. So we just have pretty much the alpha cluster now, and then we should be good. I'm going to go through and just retest everything, and then we should be good to like install keycaps, and then do final assembly of mounting this in top mount and putting the board finally together. And then I'll get this to my buddy tomorrow. So really nice board. Again, I really enjoy having it, and the fact that we have 2 of them, yeah. Oh, dude, yeah, that's super sick. Yeah. Oh, so this is let me just before I get into soldering. So this is top mount only. Again, top mount is kind of it's OG. It's top mount with screws. And what's really nice about this too, Alex Otis kind of comments on this. There's no mounting point under the spacebar. Major props to Treeleaf for doing that. Like, I don't know, I really don't like mounting points under the spacebar. As I've kind of progressed in the hobby, I realize why Alex and other creators really say like, hey, don't put mounts under the spacebar. So that's really nice. So major props for that. But yeah, it's a really simple build. Like this is a very internally, this is about as simple as it gets. So it's very simple, and I think that's what makes the board really elegant. I'm just looking to see if I bent 2 more pins. God damn it. Ugh. I swear I can't win tonight, man. I mean, it tells you how many Alps I've been doing. I really don't bend Alps pins because those things are like built like tanks. I have 2 pins I bent. I gotta fix those before we get soldering. Dang it. I know, I gotta get, as Treeleaf said earlier, I gotta get good, man. It's terrible. I mean, it tells you how out of it I've been with Cherry MX boards lately. So most of my focus has been Alps as of recent. So I just gotta I gotta un-F these pins really quick. Oh man, that one got pretty good. All right, there we go. I'll come back to that one. That one's pretty good. So it's this is a stock plate. So hey Treeleaf, is this a steel or aluminum from these plates? The plates that you made them for? Because I have an extra plate on hand too for mine, and I know you sent me some extra PCBs as well. Like I think it's aluminum. I could be, yeah, it's aluminum. So yeah, I mean it's really cool. So like it's a solid plate. Again, like everything about this board is top notch. Like I'd say it again, Treeleaf. Like props to who you went with your manufacturer for this board. Like it's top tier work. Like in terms of how it's manufactured, like I know this board can be like when I tell people what this board costs, it can be a little expensive. I know you MSRP'd it originally in the group buy for what, like $450, $500. I know it could have been a little bit higher for some of like your smaller run colorways. It feels like aluminum, honestly. It doesn't have the weight of steel. If this was a steel plate, I definitely would know it. But one thing that's interesting about this board, since it's such a small run board, for such a small run board and such a rare board, aftermarket price is still pretty close around MSRP. My buddy got really lucky and picked up his 917 for like $300. Like I'd say like eight or 9 months ago. So he got his board well before I got mine. And then I got mine, I'd say a ref for around $400. And that's really good because, like I said, like some of the boards that are like famous in the hobby for being, there's only 20 of these, like the Janes, like OG Janes. I think the original run was like 20 boards, and like V2 maybe it was like 30 or 40. Janes go for like $2,000 to $3,000. Like that's just crazy. Or the unicorns, like there's nothing really special about the unicorn other than it says TGR and Singa on it. But those boards go for absurd amounts of money. It's really nice that aftermarket value, this board has pretty much maintained its original MSRP, which I think is really nice. So if someone really, really wants to track one of these down, I see these pop up on Mech Market on Reddit or Discord. I probably see like one every other month. So they do pop up, or if you put a want to buy, I'm pretty sure someone who has one of these would probably be willing to offload it and sell it. So that's the one thing that's really nice about this board. Like it is rare, but if you're patient enough and you do proper digging on Mech Market. Oh yeah, that too. I mentioned earlier in stream, Treeleaf has a couple of these that did not sell. So I mean, if someone is genuinely interested in picking one of these up, like Treeleaf has one, he would sell it to you at like the OG MSRP. I know there's a little bit of variation. I know he may have a couple of the other like obscure colors that might be a little bit more, but like the fact that you could still get this bespoke, really awesome board at MSRP is awesome. So like that's just something that's really cool. So like, yeah, example, I guess do a plug. If someone wants a 917, reach out to Treeleaf. Like he can definitely hook you up. But really cool board. Like, so we're gonna get into the final bit of soldering just after going over some of the lore and the history on this board. But it's a really sick board. So yeah, but really simple. Again, nice thing about Cherry MX, they're so simple to do. These are such simple builds. Again, I've been doing a lot of Alps, and Alps are just such a pain in the butt. And it is solder only. Again, like, maybe that's a really good question. Again, when you get into like smaller run, higher level, more enthusiast level boards, solder is going to be the only option. And also, Trealeaf, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think like solder PCBs are also slightly cheaper to produce. I think, right? That could be, yeah. And also, solder is more secure. So I mean, if you look at like a lot of group buys now, or like boards, solder PCB, your solder options are going to be cheaper than your hot swaps. So yeah, this is another board that, again, like, solder is the only way to do. I know some users have mil-maxed their 917 PCBs. Oh, trust me, dude, I get you. I know we got, Navi, I know we got the diversities coming in. I know you got a solder PCB too for it, so that might be your first chance to really kind of try it out. I'll say with soldering, as long as you take your time, these PCBs are really robust. Unless you like jab your soldering iron and hold it there for like a minute, you're not going to kill your PCB. Like, as long as you take your time and and your temperature is like reasonable, like, soldering is pretty simple and straightforward. Like, I've gotten really good at it and I can do it really fast for the most part. Like, I had a day where I cranked out I had 4 boards out of solder and I just cranked them all out in a day. So I just sat at the desk and just cranked the boards out. But yeah, you got 3. Oh my god, dude. Yeah, you got 3 solder. I mean, I got like 3 solder boards too for my diversity because that is not a standard PCB at all, and I don't think they're ever gonna sell more PCBs for that board because it's such a weird design. So yeah, definitely especially when you get into weirder boards, you want extra PCBs. Like when I got my 917, I got a couple extra. I reached out to Treeleaf and I got a couple extra. So the MSRP on this board originally was about $450 to about $500 for the original group buy. But if you go on Mech Market, you can find 917s for, I'd say, between on the low end like $275, $300, all the way up to the original MSRP of like $450, $500. So if you're really patient, $590. There you go. So, I mean, but I think overall, it's been pretty good. And then again, sometimes some of the models that Treeleaf still has on hand, he sells for about $500. But the benefit of if you want to buy one, you can go through Treeleaf. Like, it's an unbuilt. It's been in storage for years. It's never been touched. So that's the kind of cool thing. But another thing too, like I just observed with the 917s you find aftermarket, a lot of people get these for display pieces. Unfortunately, the people who get these don't use them. They get them because it's cool, it's beautiful, and they think it's a keyboard that should just be on display, and it just sits on their shelf not being used. Which I know Treeleaf has kind of shared with me, like, he really prefers people like using these boards. Like, the people he wants them to be used. He wants them to be like the showcase centerpiece on their desk. So like, definitely with my board, I definitely use mine. Like, it definitely gets a lot of use for me. So it's a really nice board. I really enjoy having it. And overall, it's just a sweet board. So, yeah, but yeah, no, I mean, honestly, Naveed, also too, if this is a board you're genuinely interested in, like I said, it's not a hard board to track down. And again, you can find it for pretty close to MSRP or below MSRP. So that's the one nice thing about this board. It's not like Singa boards, like a Kohaku or a Unicorn, or like OTD stuff that fetches thousands of dollars in the aftermarket. Like, these are still relatively affordable and close to their MSRP, considering how limited these boards were and how few they are. Oh, don't remind me. I know. Hey, man, most of the boards coming in. Yeah. I mean, I feel you, man. I mean, I'll tell you, too, like, I mean, I am between jobs, but I start my new job in, like, second week of August, but, like, they don't start paying me till, like, the end of August, so trust me, Naveed, I know. So, like, Alps commissions and doing summer school as a teacher is definitely getting me through the summer, guys, so it's all good, so. But, yeah, Naveed, I definitely know you, my man, but, no, because, speaking of boards, I'm trying not to buy a lot of boards. Gion's dropping his 40% July 22nd, and I'm like, bruh. I'm like, but I also heard like Gian's doing two sales of the 40%. He's doing the drop where it only has like 100 units, and then he'll do like a proper group buy in August, where it'll be an unlimited sale. The benefit of getting the drop on July 22nd is you'll have your board in like the beginning of August. Whereas if you do the group buy sale, you're going to be waiting a few months because Gian has to produce them. So that's one thing that's interesting. So yeah, also Treeleaf, if you don't know, I'm a 40% guy. I'm one of those psychopaths who likes 40%. And that Gian 40%, he has a win keyless option. So I'm going to make I want to get a 40% that's even more useless because it has less keys. So it's going to be great. So I definitely want to try and get a win keyless Gian 40%. Because we're going to make it even more useless and more stupid. So that's going to be great. So yeah, 40% are cool. They're, I don't know. Also, like the 40% Discord is like probably one of the more amusing Discord servers. The people on that server are hilarious. But it's also fun explaining to like some of the more novice people in the hobby. When I post the 40%, they said, "How the heck do you use that?" I'm like, layers. So once you learn your layers on your 40%, it's pretty good. But yeah, it's very much a learning curve getting into 40%. But once you set 40s up in a way that like makes sense to you, I think overall they're pretty easy they're pretty intuitive to work with. Like if I have like a bunch of crap on my desk, I'll jump to like my minivan or like my Neko or like my high 1040, just because I need the space on my desk. But if I'm doing crap like this, again, I want the 917. I want like one of my Alps boards or something like that. It's a little more functional. But 40% are fun, and they're just a fun novelty. And also, like, the air quote high-end 40% are like what? A high-end 40% could be like $200, and that's like uber like high-end stuff. It's crazy. So because they're so tiny, and there's way less material for them. Because I have one on group buy I've already bought. I bought a Lazy Designers Duo 40, and I want to get the Gion 40%, and then oh yeah, dude. Yeah, the 40% are great. Like my minivan, top quality. Like my minivan is like a one-of-one custom minivan. I had custom Cerakoted, custom PCB, custom case made for it. So like my minivan is like a one-of-one. I got my Neko 40, which that's another cool Singa board that you can get. It's just harder to find, but when you find it, you can get it for MSRP. So I love having two Singa boards, and like those were like the Kohaku and like the Neko were like the two Singa boards that I wanted. Like I do want a unicorn, like I said, eventually, but like I'm not paying unicorn markup because yeah, the unicorn is just kind of sucks booty cheeks for its aftermarket price, and it's basically a Tofu or a Bakaneko. I mean, if you guys look on my Instagram page, I went to the Divinity meetup and I got to meet Andy Wynn, and he brought his like one-of-one yellow unicorn that everyone calls a tofu, which is like hilarious. So, and he put Greg on it, which makes it even funnier. So like I have GMK Greg. I'm waiting to put it on my seal because like when I see Greg, I don't see it on full sizes. So I'm gonna put Greg on a full size, just to, like screw with people. I'm like, yo, everyone brings Greg to the meet, but no one puts Greg on a full size. So that's gonna be pretty great when I take it to like Keep Life in like September. I'm gonna have the seal, and we're gonna have Greg, and we're gonna have it on a full size. It's gonna be freaking awesome. So, because I got a few of the GMK meme sets. I got Greg, I got Cluck, I got Sloth on group buy from Novel Keys, which should be coming later this year. That was definitely an impulse buy. Oh yeah, Naveed, speaking of buying things right now while you're in between gigs, like Dulk, GMK Dulk R5 is on sale, and I'm definitely probably going to be picking that up on like the last day. I think Tuesday is the last day they're running it, so I'll definitely be picking up Dulk. Like I think I told you, like that's like the last like of like sets in GMK that I really wanted. Like I've looked on like the Geekhack forums of all the upcoming GMK sets, and like I pretty much have everything I can want GMK wise. Dulk was the last one, and like the last run of Dulk, like there was a guy on eBay asking $500 for the last run of Dulk, and I'm like, you're a jerk. That's not worth that. And I know, and I'm like, it's just a matter of time before like Novel Keys or like GMK will run it again. It's the same thing with Darling. Like Darling was only valuable because it ran during COVID and no one bought it because everyone thought it was dumb. And then once the handful of sets went to the handful of people that bought it, everyone says, "Oh my God, Darling is the coolest set ever. I want it." And then the price is skyrocketed. And now the price of Darling is normalized because you can get it in stock, and it's like thousands of people bought Darling R2. So it's kind of interesting. Like some of the sets, like the most sought after when they released, no one thought they were cool. Like GMK Led Zeppelin, I got that back in spring. Like when that ran originally, I don't think anyone thought it was cool. And then after it was ran, everyone's like, oh my god, this set's awesome. Yeah, Key Kobo, yeah, you definitely got to get their Dolk version when it runs. Like I think it's just one of those classic sets of like just beige or like 9009. Like those, it's just those really classic sets that like everyone makes it. Like every keycap maker has done like a Dolch or like a 9009. Like those are like two like iconic sets, or white on black or black and white. Like those are just kind of those classic iconic sets. Like you just kind of have to have in your collection or have on a board. So I mean, we'll go over to the keycap selection on this board in a second. You can kind of see it on mine. I have like 6 or 7 more switches to go through, and then we can kind of go over keycaps. So, but yeah, it's a fun board. Like I think, like Dolch, and also I have the big ass Enter add-on kit that's from GMK. So like I got the GMK big ass Enter add-ons a few months ago, and I got the Dolch kit knowing I can't really get the kit, the main kit, and so I knew Novel Keys was eventually going to run it again. So when I get Dolch, I think I might put the Dolch on the Secret, because Dolch is like gray with like the red or blue accents, and it looks like, I was looking at Chester's Secret 65%, and I think Dolch would go really cool on the Secret. So I'm really looking forward to potentially getting the Secret and then putting Dolch on it. Oh, dude, GMK is crazy. I mean, here, I love GMK. I mean, I have almost 40 GMK sets, so I'm definitely a GMK fanboy. GMK is expensive not because they're anything special. It's they're manufactured in Europe, and you're paying German engineering and German labor and German manufacturing costs. That's why it's expensive. So that's the big thing. So like GMK is just expensive because you're paying for that European manufacturing. If GMK manufactured in China, their GMK sets would not be $150, $200. And also, like, one thing I always get a kick out of GMK, Naveed and I have talked about this, GMK's packaging sucks. And they say, oh, we want to be environmentally friendly. I'm like, GMK, you are a plastics manufacturer. If you wanted to save the environment, you would shut down your business or manufacture stuff that's not in plastic. I think Chester's aiming for like September, October, maybe November. Either way, it's going to be late Q3, sometime in Q4 of this year. It's going to happen before the end of the year. We don't have exact, but I would say like late Q3, so think September, or we're talking like Q4. Yeah, dude, GMK packaging sucks. I absolutely hate it. No, I love GMK. I love the guys. The guys over there are awesome. I really wish their packaging was a little bit better, but hey, I get it. They want to be environmentally conscious, as silly as that sounds, considering what type of business they're in. But no, it's cool though. I would love to go to GMK. Like they just did their keyboard meetup for Europe, and I was talking with some users who went to the meetup at GMK, and they said it was super cool because they had the whole GMK team there, like showcasing prototypes and upcoming projects. They also had the guys from Cherry there, because Cherry is also based in Germany, but not for long, unfortunately. Cherry's moving production over to China. But I know Cherry was at the meetup, but a lot of the other European vendors were there, and they're like Prototypist, Oblotsky, and some of the other vendors who are very specific to their respective countries in Europe went to that meetup. So I know a lot of the focus on the big meetups are like in East Asia or here in the United States. So it was really nice that like GMK hosted a meetup that was actually very well attended for, again, the keyboard enthusiast community over in Europe, which I thought was really cool. So because I met some users who are over in Germany, and it's really kind of cool. Like, yeah, you got like for example, when GMK happens, like when the group buys get delivered, they usually buy through a Blotsky or GMK themselves now, and they get their GMK sets within like a week of like the sets being fully manufactured. I'm jealous. It's the perks of being in Germany, I guess. So, yeah, we got one more when we're done soldering this board. So, yeah, there we go. So, almost there, folks. Hey, thanks Treeleaf. I just try to be enthusiastic. I'm just a guy. I'm just putting content out there just to kind of spread the word, educate people. Like, I'm not doing, like, the content creation stuff to, like, make money or chasing monetization. Like, I'm in for custom commissions. That's different. If someone wants to like commission me to do like to either solder a board, assemble a board, do a super one of one, like high end one of one keyboard, like sure, I'm not working for free. I will absolutely I'll tell the person like my commission fee and like what we're gonna charge for parts, and like if they want Cerakote or anything like that. But like that's doing commissions, and like I always ask the client, like, are you okay with me streaming your builds on like Twitch and YouTube? Like the client who has ordered 3 builds with me within the past week. Like I asked their permission explicitly. Can I stream your build? And they said sure. So that's just one thing. I'm really transparent with the clients. The third build for the client, we're doing a JO2 that we're going to custom Cerakoted, and we actually have to mod the case. So this JO2 that we're getting, they want OG. We're doing Alps, but they want Apple extended keycaps. So I talked with Jay over at Prototypist. The only JO2s they have left are wing keyless. They have the wing keyless blockers. So Apple extended keycaps use their own proprietary bottom row, because of course Apple does. Yeah. So yeah, that's why, like I said, again, if the social media thing takes off and I get some monetization, or people want to do sponsored streams, I'm absolutely open to it. I'm gonna disclose that, like, hey, this is a sponsored stream. Like Divinity, when I did the Divinity stream on Saturday, I disclosed fully, like, the 2 Test 65s that I was showing on screen. My friend and I bought those with our own money. It was cool having Divinity on there, and Divinity shared, like, hey, they want to make me a media affiliate and, like, eventually start sending stuff, and, like, I am going to be doing a commissioned build for them. But, like, I want to have that out there in the open. Like, so, like, people just kind of know where my biases are from. I'm still going to be honest. I'm still going to give you my honest opinion and try to be constructive with my feedback. I'm not going to be, mean like Black Simon. And but if there's like genuine criticism or feedback that I can give to help make the product better and make it better for the end user, I'd love to be part of that conversation. So that's something I think is just really cool. But I also just want to be like, I want to give criticism in like a constructive way going forward. Like I said, I have 3 prototype builds that I'm going to be looking at probably in August. Like again, probably Chester Secret, the BP1 from Luke, and then the QFRL 100. I'm going to be honest in my feedback, and again, those are early prototypes, so if I can give feedback that can help their final production runs that are going to go to customers, that's what I want to help, because that's going to make the final product for the customers even better. So that's just like the thing. So I just wanted to, at the end of the day, I want what people are going to actually get, what they paid for with their hard-earned money, to be the best product they can get. I don't want people to get a product that sucks. So here we go. So we have our finished build. So about these switches, they're equals. They're switches from equals. I don't know what specific switch they are, but my buddy wanted to use these switches. He fully modded these switches, so he filmed them, he lubed them, he spring swapped them, and he also oiled the springs. The only switch that is different, he wanted a different switch on the space bar. He tried out a bunch of different switches, and he settled on a Wakuo Harmony switch for his spacebar. So that's kind of interesting. These are going to be linear switches all around. So the orange switches are linear and the spacebar is linear. So I offered him HMX Go Foil, but he said he already modded these and he preferred to have switches that he modded himself in his personal 917. So that's what we decided to go with. So what we're gonna use the same keycaps that we did on my build. So really for the 917, there's only one keycap set that really goes with this, and that's going to be GMK Yuri, specifically the Skydata version of the set. Yeah, and I think that makes sense. I think having different keys on like your alphas or your modifiers, I think that's pretty common in the hobby. So we're just going to kind of install these, but we're going the exact same set on this particular board. It's the only set that belongs on a 917, in my personal humble opinion. That's the only one that belongs. And I think Treeleaf would agree with me. It very much matches the orange and blue Gulf Oil color theme of the board. So, I mean, Treeleaf would and also when the board was being promoted, Treeleaf also promoted the board with this particular keycap set. The only thing that's kind of tough, this keycap set's a little harder to track down now. I got lucky when I bought my board. I bought the Z Frontier in China. Had a few of these sets left, so I got mine direct from Z Frontier. So I got a set brand new, but even aftermarket, the sets are becoming a little bit harder to find. Like you can find GMK Yuri, but the normal GMK Yuri set is not this color. It's a different color. So that's just kind of the interesting thing when we look at it. So we're just kind of putting this board together, and then once we have our keycaps on, then we'll do final assembly, and then we'll do a little typing test, and then we'll get on out of here, folks. Again, this is what's a much shorter stream. Again, we'll probably be out of here in the next 10 or 15 minutes. But it was just kind of nice kind of talking about this history and just kind of sharing this board with people. Again, there's outside, when this board was originally ran in group buy, Alex Odos did a stream on it, and then Black Simon also did a stream on it. So that's really nice. But other than those two streams from the original group buy that they did, there's not much content on this board. So the video on demand of this board will be on my YouTube channel. So it'll be nice if someone is interested in considering this board. They'll have another stream that they can look at where we kind of give a little, again, an in-depth look at this board, a little bit of the history, and talk about the lore of the board. And it's nice that we had Treeleaf in chat because, again, Treeleaf, this is his design. And I think it's one of the more tasteful and probably one of my personal favorite designs in the hobby. And I think Treeleaf really kind of knocked it out of the park with this one. And I really wish people were as passionate to do boards like this. And it's nice. There are people like that who do boards like that. But this was very much a passion project. Like Treeleaf was just an ordinary guy like you and me who had a race car he was a big fan of. And he said, I'm going to design a keyboard around it. And that's what we did. And that's exactly what he did. And it's freaking awesome. So it's a really cool board. And I'm really grateful to have one in my collection. I know my friend is really grateful to have one of these beautiful boards. Like I said, if someone's interested in getting these, again, you can find these on Mech Market. Or you can get one direct from Treeleaf. Treeleaf does happen to have a handful still laying around in his garage or storage shed somewhere. So, which is super cool. So it's a really good board, and it's one of my personal favorites. Like, in my collection, I think it's probably one of the most beautiful boards I have. Like, it rivals like boards like my Kohaku or like my Jelly Evolve in just terms of like the overall beautiful industrial design on display. And it's cool too, because this board like pays homage to the 917 race car while also being tasteful and not in your face. I think that's something that's really good. So it does a little bit of everything. Oh yeah, the layout's great. This is an FRL TKL, so there is no F-row on this, which is really cool. Oh yeah, it's a really good sound. Both of these boards are going to sound different because we're using different switches. I have stock HMX Go foils. These are the switches that my buddy modded. So we'll kind of see it. Also, my buddy, just about him, he likes clacky sound profiles. I like clacky sound profiles. So both of these boards are pretty clacky. But they just have a slightly different sound. I'll like lower my mic at the end and we can kind of get a sound test of both of them before we get on out of here. But it's a really good board overall. Like, it's just a fun, really fun design. And it's just a really, really well thought out board. I think at the end of the day, that's what I think. If you're going to go with like super bespoke, super high-end, small run boards, like you want stuff like a 917. I think in terms of the like the philosophy, how they approach the project, and whatnot. Oh, oops, those are too far over. Put these keycaps in the wrong spot. Oops. Don't want to do that. So yeah, it's a really good sound. So overall, but yeah, this board also just sounds like freaking awesome. So it's just a really cool board. So we're just kind of making sure we get our keycaps in the right spot. So we're almost there, finishing up all the alphas. We got our G, H, we got our A. Should be number 1. We got our Y. Cool. Yeah, we are almost there, folks. Getting there. So we're getting the last of the keycaps on here, and then we'll be good to go with this one. So this is a really nice board. Again, if you can get, this is a board you're interested in getting, folks, definitely try and track a Treeleaf 917 down. They're awesome. Like there's just nothing else like them. I think it's probably one of the most beautiful boards out there. So there we go, folks. So we got that. So now we're just gonna bring the top case over and we're gonna put this in our top mount. Absolutely. I mean, I'm doing the Frog Mini is awesome. I have it as an Alps build. It's I love it. If you can find a Frog Mini for like 200 or less, go for it. Like, you can usually find them on Mech Market for like 150, 175. That's about what I got mine for. A great board. I freaking love it. Whether you do go crazy like me and put Alps in it, or you put just a standard Cherry MX build, it's an awesome board. I mean, Gion really has only done like 360% at this point. The Frog Mini, the F260, the Frog Ligera, and then the Glare 60, which he just ran. So give me a second, folks. I need some water before we keep on moving. But yeah, it's basically just a 60% of the Frog TKL. It's just the Frog TKL's little bro. So really, really cool board. I really enjoy it. Let me turn my let me just clean my soldering iron, turn that off just so we're pretty much done with the soldering iron. So Yeah, there we go. Cool. All right, let me get, where did my screwdrivers go? So let me get my screwdriver out, and then we'll get going. So, but yeah, we got everything soldered in here. But yeah, Frog 60, go for it, dude. Like, or Frog Mini, what the heck it is. Like, it's awesome board. I love mine. I have the blue one, or purple, depending on how you look at it. I love it. Like, it's a cool board. I just had a commission today. We finalized on price. I had a user in Singapore reach out. They commissioned me to do an Alps build for them. So they have a Frog Mini in their personal collection. So what they're gonna do, what we're gonna do, similar to what I did for Univibe, where I'm gonna build the internal assembly and then we're gonna ship it to them. So they're going with green Alps, and we're gonna go with some OG Alps caps from the 1980s on their set, which is gonna be really cool. So really, really nice. Getting that one. So yeah, Frog Mini, definite buy. I mean, I do want the other Gion 60 eventually, which is the F260. Sad part from my heart, it's not compatible with Alps. I've talked with Trealeaf, it's not possible, but I will probably make it a sick MX build. I have something, I'll figure out something crazy and stupid to do with it. Why is that screw not going in? Give me a second. Okay, give me a second. Sometimes the screws are a little stubborn. There we go. So we're almost there. No, so they're going to keep their Frog Mini. I'm going to build like the PCB plate and switch assembly, and then I'll ship that. I told them I will build it for them, but they got to pay for shipping because I ain't paying for shipping to go to the other side of the planet. So they said they were cool with that, so I'll charge like my commission fee plus parts and then shipping. So the user's really cool. They actually found me on they saw me on Discord and they reached out on Instagram. So so we I just gave him like a price breakdown of like what it's going to cost. And then he said, yeah, I can do that. So I bought the board. I needed to get more green Alps switches. So I bought a board today that had green Alps. So I told them I'm out of town next week. I'll be at San Diego Comic-Con next week. So I told them like realistically, you're probably, even my other client commissions I'm doing, I told them like probably a bunch of the parts for these clients commissions are going to arrive while I'm gone. So I told them, like, realistically, you're not going to get your builds until, like, probably, like, mid-August. That's just kind of the nature of the game. And also, we're just kind of waiting. Like, this one client, like, who wants to do the JO2 and the F1, like, we're waiting for those to come in and get all the parts and get those finalized. And my other two client commission builds, we're waiting on plates and PCBs to come in from Careless. And then this Singapore guy, I also got to get plates made for that. So, and harvest switches. So, it's a time. So... yeah, no, I'm making it, I mean, we're just going to see, like, this one, I'm actually properly charging a commission fee now, so that's, like, the good thing, so we're definitely actually charging properly. I mean, I'm not here to rip people off, but, like, I'm also not doing it for free, so here we go, that's what our top mount looks like, so, but pretty good, so, yeah, so this is pretty easy, so this is a really easy board, so... another thing too about this, the fit and finish on this board is absolutely gorgeous. So this is really tight finish. The manufacturer that Treeleaf went with is absolutely fantastic. So I don't know who the manufacturer was for this particular board, but it's top tier quality. So it has 7 screws in the bottom that hold it together, and these screws are like really substantial. So we're just gonna put the screws in the bottom case, screw it together, and then we are pretty much fully assembled. So this is a really, really nice board. I really am happy I got to do this. I'm not going to be posting any photos of this because one of the first posts I put on my Instagram page is of both of our 917s that my buddy did at a professional photo shoot. So I'll probably just pin that on my Instagram profile and just trying to showcase those pictures. But yeah, overall, this is two really cool boards. And again, there's only about 51 of these in existence, so the fact that there's 2 of them right here is pretty crazy. And it's just a really nice bespoke board. Again, there's not many like them. It's a shame people don't make boards like this. And again, when you get boards like this on the market today, they're prohibitively expensive. So, I mean, it's not to say there's a market. Like, heck, I bought prohibitively expensive boards, but... it's nice that Treeleaf kind of targeted a really good price point when he originally ran this board. So let me just put my tools away, and then we'll do a couple sound tests, and then we'll get on out of here, folks. So this was a nice, simple build today. But we got 2 917s. Look at that. So I want to do a little bit of a sound test on these boards and see how they go. But there we go, everybody. So look at that. They're twins. We're twinning today. Yeah, there aren't a ton of small run boards, and even if the boards that are really small, like it's very much word of mouth. They're not even going to see them advertised on Geekhack. You got to be in the right Discord servers. You got to know the right people to really kind of get into those really tiny group buys. So yeah, it's really, you got to really be active and really know the right people to get into the tiny group buy runs that still run. But yeah. So we're going to do a side-by-side sound test. So let me move my microphone down. Hello microphone. Just making sure. There we go. All right, folks. So I'm going to move my mic over mine. So this first one we're going to do is my personal 917. So this has HMX Gulf oils in it, but really cool board. So we'll test out the stabilizers first. Let me move it just so I can get a better. There we go. All right, so that was my personal 917. Let's kind of hear my buddies now. So this is my friend's. He has these equal switches that he has modded. So they're lubed, filmed, spring swapped, and the springs have been oiled. So let's see, let's see his stabilizers. So I definitely feel like mine is a little more deeper. His is a little more high pitched. So, but yeah, overall, I think they're pretty good. So I'm gonna just pull my microphone back up so it's just out of frame. There we go. There she blows. So, all right, everybody. I think we're gonna get on out of here. But again, those of you who tuned in, thank you, folks. The VOD will be on my YouTube channel at Finley Design Works. So again, it's about an hour 40 minutes. But this is just, again, this is a showcase of the Treeleaf 917. I also want to give a big thank you to Treeleaf for being in the chat during the stream and also just kind of chiming in different pieces of information about this board. If you're interested in this, again, it's a really cool board. But again, this is the Treeleaf 917, so we have two of them right here, guys.